Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for choosing our show. Now, there is a general agreement that the youths of this country are going to shape the next election, and they are going to be a very integral part in forming the next government after the 2027 election because of their numbers and their resolve to ensure that they give us a new leadership. Even right now, some of them are still saying that Ruto must go. But there is a general concern that the government is twisting the Ruto must go and the one-term call to mean that Gen Zs want to topple Ruto's government. They are also being killed in the streets. And so they are being urged to ensure that they change tact and ensure that they send William Ruto home in 2027 through the ballot so that they don't risk being killed anyhowly the way the government is doing. Recently, Rigathi Gachagua urged them, and I remember Rigathi telling Ruto, we don't want to topple your government, we really want to humiliate you through the ballot. Now, it's also coming out that Gen Zs have got a very, very bad plan for William Ruto because they have come out very openly and they are saying that the next government must be headed by someone who will have the audacity to arrest William Samoei Ruto. And I want us to look at that because it is now coming out very openly that Gen Zs want to retaliate, one, by voting out William Ruto and ensuring that he is arrested. But ladies and gentlemen, please help me take Peter to school because Peter comes from a very, very humble family. He recently lost his father, and as a result of that, things have really not been the same again. The mother is saying that she's unable to take Peter to school. Actually, Peter was sent home for school fees, but we pleaded with the administration to allow Peter taking his exams because people have begun, students and pupils have begun exams. But I promised the school that we would take something.
Sawa, karibu sana. Mimi naitwa Mama Peter. Ningewaomba, mimi nilikuwa na mzee lakini akafariki, ilikuwa ghafla, na venye ilikuwa ghafla maisha ikatulemea, katafuta nyumba kama hizi, na mimi hufanya kazi ya kufua, lakini kwa saa hii kazi iko chini sana juu kazi yenye tunafanya huwezi pata ya kulisha watoto, kulipa rent. Sasa chenye ningeomba tu nisaidie nipate pesa ya kulipa nyumba, sababu nyumba nayo nimedaiwa miezi 4 sijalipa, na ni kama tunataka kufukuzwa. Ningewaomba kama tu ningeweza nisaidie nipate ya kulipa nyumba na ya kupeleka mtoto wangu shule. Kwa saa hii aliambiwa asirudi shule bila school fees. Kama ingewezekana nipate na nifungue kabiashara kidogo ili niweze kulisha watoto.
Please help me take Peter to school and give Mama Peter a decent life by opening a biashara ili aweze kujitegemea. Thank you very much as we do this 50 bob challenge. May God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, many leaders continue to urge Gen Zs to change their tact so that William Ruto cannot predict what they are about to do. And they are saying, sensitize each other, chukweni kura, register as voters, so that come 2027, we will meet Ruto head on in 2027.
Kuja tutasimama pamoja, and I want all of us to know, and even Duncan, when you go back, tell your mates, hatutaki mupike tena. You pass the message now. Imefika. And us, we will act through the ballot. Once they do that, their voices will be heard through their votes. Because even if the winner is not the one that you wanted, the law dictates the majority have their way, but the minority will always have their say, isn't it? So either way, let them now start doing what? Mobilizing themselves, wasijisajiri, and then from there, they are going to talk through the vote. That is what I'm saying. I will make that right choice to condemn the killing of our young people. As for me, I will condemn because it is not right. Bwana asifiwe. As for me, kama Wangoi, nasimama na watu wa Kirinyaga kusema it was wrong that Duncan was shot when he was walking in town in Nairobi trying to say as young people we must be listened to. I will stand with these young people. Wale ambao wanatembea wakisema tusikizeni, they must be listened to.
And many of them, when you listen to most of Gen Zs, they will tell you, we have a date with William Ruto. We want to show him. Because as we head to 2027, by the help of social media, the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they will be telling, they will be rallying themselves, and they will be saying, this vote is respect to Rex. This is going to be a vote to remember Albert Ojwang. This is going to be a vote to remember the young Njoki who was killed. So they are going to rally themselves. But one thing that has shocked many and has really sent shockwaves in State House is that Gen Zs are now saying that they want to, take a paradigm shift from all the exorbitant kind of campaigns where money is dished out. And they're saying that we want a simple guy who will stand before us. He will not insult anyone. He will only sell his policies. We will even contribute for him some money. Not only that, they're saying that they want someone who will arrest culprits of corruption and murder. And they're not hiding it.
It will be a 2002. It was 70+%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be a landslide. You will not need to convince people. The efforts of money and cars, no need. Because if Kenya misses that person, Kenya loses, the person continues. Kenya is the one that loses. And that's why I've told you the only person that can change Kenya is not a person that, we are used to rallies, just standing on top of a car, abusing someone, say, I'm going to do this, looking for what they have not done. No, that leader won't need to do that. He will just tell you what he can do. If that's not enough for you to vote for him, if you're looking for abuse, if you're looking for attacks, that leader will not do that. His focus or her focus is in Kenya. And how blessed will Kenya be on that day? Because during inauguration, people will be arrested on that day. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. During inauguration, without fearing, looking at, what will the nations think? No, this is Kenya. What do Kenyans want? Return the money that belongs to Kenya. Return the money.
Even in the US, there is this youth who was asking Fred Matiang'i when the members of the diaspora community had a date with Matiang'i, they had a meeting, and this Gen Z was asking, will you be able to arrest William Ruto because we want him to be arrested?
Yeah, so in the event that you become the president of the nation of Kenya, because there is a high possibility you will be the president. Yeah. And given the atrocities that Ruto has done, how will you hold President Ruto and his out of office and the complicit politicians and police officers accountable for over 94 deaths that have occurred at the protests that have occurred since last year and now? We want to see him jailed. That's what we want. We want all of them held accountable.
So that just tells you what Gen Zs have in their mind. The kind of president that they want to lead this country. They want a president who will be legally brutal, one who will unleash the law. You meet the full force of the law. If there is something that you have done that is culpable, then you will meet the law. They will deal with you in accordance with the Constitution. And maybe you may be thinking that, Gen Zs are just talking, this is hot air or just wild goose chase. listen to Oscar Sudi saying, if these people, and in fact, the Oscar Sudi, who's a very close ally of William Ruto, was saying that if the opposition take, then he's very sure they will be arrested. They are just guilty because they know what they have done.
Na ndio unaona sisi tuko careful. Ndio naambia huyu mnyana tuko careful sana tushindwe kwa sababu hao watu wakitushinda kwa sababu mtu kama mimi watanifunga baba nene. Watanifunga baba nene. Kwa ndio unaona tunakaa macho kabisa ili zote ziko juu na kukarabati yote iko chini. Kwa sababu hao watu wakipita tu namna hii mimi kwanza na huyu Arabu kishara huyu mnyana huyu tutafungwa baba.
You know, many a times when you listen to people like Oscar Sudi, Chirchir, Farouk Kibet, Murkomen, you know, when you listen to them speak, they will only be trying to expose what they have said in secret, what is in their mind, their fears. They fear that should anyone takes up from Ruto, if Ruto, let me say when, because it looks to me like it is not a matter of when or if, it is by how many votes. It is not a matter of if Ruto will be defeated. It is by how much margin. I could be wrong, but I think Kenyans are very tired. You look at the civil servants, their pay slips are really crying. The youths, the mamambokas. So there's a general feeling that Ruto is going to be humiliated in the ballot. So they feel that when William Ruto is finally defeated, the person who will take over will start looking at their past. You've seen them dishing out a lot of money, millions, and there's a general feeling that the source of this money, is really questionable, and they know. You've seen Retaliation the other day was saying Ruto was involved in building some hotel inside a forest. There's a lot of corruption cases. You've had Retaliation calls Ruto Arap Mashamba. There are some murder charges. They're even saying that they want to take Ruto to The Hague. In the event that the Hague will not take up the charges or is released, then they will come back. And that is why Ruto and his allies would not want to lose this election, the coming elections. That is why they even tell us blatantly that they will rig that election, because they know they have sensed defeat. Politicians don't just wake up to say some things. They don't have any confidence that they will win, because they are looking at this reality, staring at the reality that William Ruto has lost connection with these people. The kind of love that he used to enjoy when he was hoodwinking and playing theatrics in 2022 is no longer there. That is why you can see William Ruto reviving the religious call, creating a conflict, trying to build by force a church in State House, because he wants to bring back the church. That is how he entered Mount Kenya and convinced many people that he's a man of God. So he's doing that. I can see his son using the matatu industry that employs very many youths. He's coming there to try and consolidate the youth support. So they have sensed defeat. For them to wake up and say, tutaiba, tutajaza, for them to come out and say, tutafungwa, they know very well that they are almost guilty as charged. But youths must also play their part. Like they're being urged, we don't want to lose them on the streets. Even though picketing is in the constitution, we have a butcher government that does not want to listen to anyone. You've heard the president himself call shoot. And we all know that even if you're shot in the leg, Rex died because of overbleeding. So what youths must do, even as much as they go to the street, which many leaders urge them not to, they must ensure that they register as voters. Because together with the millennials and the parents, they will send this government home. If they so decide that wakipewa pesa watakula, lakini wanajua mahali wanaweka kura. If they so decide that they will dictate this opposition. They tell them, we don't want two people to contest. Because if you see, the day you will see that opposition disintegrated, Rigathi yako pale, maybe Kalonzo, Matiang'i, that will be a sure bet for William Samoei Ruto. So Gen Zs must ensure that they dictate and they tell, mkisimama, you will be our enemy. Wahakikishe kwamba we have one presidential candidate. Not only Gen Z, but this is going to be a united force. For William Ruto to be met, for William Ruto to get someone to give him a run for his money, we must get one candidate, and all Kenyans, not only Gen Zs, but all Kenyans must tell them we need one candidate. Then we will need a radical surgery, an overhaul of this government. The judiciary must also take their part. These independent candidates, the EACC, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, they have been swallowed by the executive arm of the government. The Director of Public Prosecution, the courts, and all this, every sector that is playing a part in ensuring that we cleanse and clean our social environment, our legal environment, there will be an overhaul so that we have the best judges who do not have any moral questions. Because you cannot prosecute any leader if we have judges who are also implicated. Then we need to ensure that we also have the right people. If you elect thieves in office, they will not allow their fellow thieves to be prosecuted. That is why we need to be very careful. Even as we say Ruto one term, bora tolewe, no, we really need also viongozi bora. Si bora viongozi. So we need to ensure that we have the right people who can have the guts of prosecuting leaders who are culpable. And we are not only going to target leaders, everyone or anyone in a public office who has been implicated must account for his deeds. And so Gen Zs must also ensure that they rally themselves, they register voters, they wake up very early in the morning and vote without giving any chance to rigging. Like you remember in 2002, maybe most of the Gen Zs were young or they were not there. People really cast their votes in such a way that there was no room for rigging. Now wachunge hiyo kura. Then as we get to post-2027, we must do a radical surgery so that we have an environment that is ready for change. Viongozi pia, hawa ma Gen Z, must present themselves to be elected as leaders so that they have their MCAs, their members of parliament. It will be very easy to pass resolutions. Otherwise, all this is going to be a mere talk. But ladies and gentlemen, State House is really tensed. Because when you see some people speak in undertones, it only reveals what Gen Zs want, how they feel. They want someone who will arrest the leaders in this current government. Do you think we have someone who can do that? Many people say Wamunyoro can do. But sometimes after people get into offices, these are watu ni wale tu. You can be really shocked when there is another handshake. Scratch my back, I scratch your back. If there is one person who I believe can jail leaders who are corrupt, is Maraga. He's never been a politician. Wale wengine tu ni same, they've worked together, they've been friends. Ruto na Gachagua walikuwa marafiki juzi, Kalonzo na Raila walikuwa. So these people, we can only elect, for example, if we don't have any choice. But if you ask me, the more things change, the more they remain the same.